Hi, this is Steve Adler. Good evening. Got a minute? All right, let's go through some numbers today. We had a change in risk level yesterday. We're going to talk about that just a little bit, and then different kinds of pictures from the mailbag. Dashboard number one on the city website. 13 admissions. Boy, it's been a long time since we've had a number down that low. 13 admissions takes our numbers down again. In that graph in the middle, you can see how we're now solidly in the yellow area. Dr. Escott recommended, and we've moved down now to that stage 3, that yellow area. The 7-day moving average, which is what's shown on that chart, is at 20. That's a drop of 1 from yesterday. Continue heading in the right direction. Nervous as we're approaching Labor Day, nervous as we have students coming back, nervous that we're not going to be able to hold on to this because cities can't, nervous that I see clubs opening downtown, nervous that the governor today with the state regulator said that bars could open so long as they had a food truck with them. I guess that kind of makes them like a restaurant. I'm concerned about bars opening even with a food truck. We're going to continue to monitor that. As we said, UT is mitigating really well in the classrooms, messaging to the students, making sure they know the kind of community they've come back to. But they're also testing 5,000 students a week. So if we get some infections or some clusters, hopefully we can find them and isolate them. But not only worried about students, worried about families and friends and neighbors gathering together for cookouts on Labor Day weekend. Until we have a vaccine, we just have to maintain some kind of discipline. The difference, though, between saying we're going from orange to yellow is recognizing that the infectivity in our community, drops. That 7.6 number was for the week ending 8/8. That's a number that'll change on a weekly basis. Hopefully, as we get better data, it'll be closer to real time, but we're probably below that 7.6 right now. Generally, as a community, Latino community, probably higher at about 12% right now. But as we drop the infectivity, the chances that you'll go out and pass somebody and that person will be infected goes down. It is you can now participate in more things around other people, and the risks are not great. They're the same as they were with going into a smaller group of people when the chances that somebody would have the infection was higher. So as we go from orange into yellow, as we have done, still people should be avoiding groups more than 10. But what it says is if you're a susceptible person, before you had to stay in groups no more than 2. Now, a susceptible person, it's less of a risk for them to be around in groups of 10. Still try to minimize those as best you can. Obviously, everywhere, everybody wearing face masks and social distancing. Another difference between orange and yellow is that in the yellow zone, not only can you go to essential businesses, but it also recognizes that it's less risk now to go to the open businesses like restaurants and the like. But when you go to a restaurant, make sure you're going to a restaurant that has everybody wearing masks to and from their tables, where their wait people wear the mask. Make sure you stay in those restaurants that are actually trying their best to minimize the passing of the virus, staying at a 50% occupancy right now. If you can eat outside, that's a safer option than is eating inside. So I'd make those kind of choices. If you're going to go out to a restaurant, safer to go out to the restaurant with your family than it is with other people. If you're going to join other people, try to minimize the number of times you go out with new people so that if anybody does get sick, you can isolate the number of people that were impacted better. But as we now move from orange to yellow, We're asking everybody to stay as diligent as we possibly can, because keeping that infectivity number going down is what's going to be able for us to be able to sustain the opening of schools and increasing the number of students that go to school. So as a community, if we stay focused on that as our goal, that will help. 20, the 7-day moving average. 100 new cases today. That number continues to go down. The 7-day moving average is 151, so we're substantially below that. Doubling time right now. We're doubling every 142 days. Remember, it was what, a month and a half ago that we were doubling every 15, 16 days in the city? Boy, I tell you, it seems like a couple of years ago, not just a couple of months ago. In the mint-colored numbers down at the bottom, hospitalized 7-day moving average is 179. The actual number tonight is 158, which is good, below the 7-day moving average. ICU 63, the number is 57 tonight, again below the 7-day moving average, which means the 7-day moving average will continue to move down. And folks on ventilators at 42, that's the 7-day moving average. The actual number on ventilators is 40. That chart in the middle, remember, you can click through that chart and see other graphs. You can see positivity. We went through these numbers yesterday, and they're going to change on a weekly basis, not daily. Positivity by race. You can see 7-day moving averages for cases and hospitalizations and ventilators and ICUs. All right, let's go to the next graph. The next dashboard number 2. With the 100 new cases, that gets us to 26,117. 371 people have passed away. That's an increase of 9 over yesterday. It's important to pause when we look at that number and recognize that there are 9 families today that lost somebody and are grieving. We should think every day about those people and then keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers. Again, this is a deadly virus. Let's look at the University of Texas. Dr. Meyer's chart, the R number, now she has it indicating dropping to 0.75. That's great. If we keep driving that number down, that's the number that tells us that the virus is not spreading. In fact, it's being further and further contained. Chances, the probability that the epidemic is increasing, 29%. You can see the chart, the green numbers that were kind of all over, giving us a flat path, now seem to be trending downward. So you can see the bold green line to the right. Boy, I tell you, it would be great if we could continue to follow that. If we can't, that's going to be the best chance of being able to maintain opening schools. I am concerned, as we talked about just a second ago, that we were plateauing. Maybe we're not. Maybe it actually is heading down. That is only the result of people being diligent about wearing masks. If we go through a couple weeks where people stop wearing masks, we will see that number start going up. And quite frankly, the more people that wear masks, the more people that wear masks. And by that, I mean, if people go outside and they start seeing people that are taking them off, they're going to take theirs off too, and it will snowball, and our numbers will go back up. We won't be able to hold on to schools. Everybody wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. Keep doing these things. We have to keep it up. We're trying to get to below 5% infectivity for the entire community. That's each of the racial groups, each of the ethnicities. Overall, we're higher than 5%. White community probably under 5%. But other communities are going to be higher than 5%, and we need to pull them down with us in order to be able to keep everybody safe in our community, especially the Latino community. Today there was a press conference. Dr. Escott and Director Hayden of Austin Public Health, they issued a call to action similar to what I've been saying here. Don't get overconfident with the numbers. Keep doing what's working. Don't let up. Drive those numbers down. We're doing better than most other cities our size. and we should be proud that that's happening. But we should use that as a reason to keep going and not to let up. We have some evacuees that are arriving in Austin, guests arriving in our city, which is a very good thing. This hurricane, Laura, that's hitting the coast is something that is picking up velocity and speed. There could be another storm right behind that one that's hitting. 20-foot high storm surges is what they're predicting on some areas along the coast. We want everybody leaving. We don't want anybody staying there. And we're going to treat the guests coming to Austin the way that we hope that we'd be treated if we were guests in different cities. This is now the time when Austin recognizes its responsibility to the entire state, as all cities, to contribute to do our part. So we are welcoming guests. We have helped about 3,000, a little over 3,000, find hotel rooms with vouchers to help cover the costs. That's over 1,000 families in those over 3,000 rooms. We also have a lot of guests that are coming to our community that are just getting hotels on their own, if they can afford to do that, which is great. But what that means is we're actually trying. It's actually harder for us to find hotel rooms right now in our city. If somebody is a guest coming up from the coast and they have the ability, probably they should stay on I-35 and continue to head up north. A lot more hotel rooms as you get up to Waco and to Dallas. So if you could stay on the road for another 2, 3, 4 hours, a good thing to do. If folks don't want to do that and they want to stay here and we can't find the hotel rooms, we are opening up the Austin Convention Center. Should be open later tonight. That's not individual rooms. That's more traditional sheltering. So with cots in a big area. Some people would prefer to be in hotels. So again, I would advise you to stay on the road and continue heading up north. There'll probably be cities at that point that have vouchers for hotel rooms for people. But we're going to be opening up the Austin Convention Center. In those areas, by the way, where we have people living together, the state's going to be doing COVID testing, because those folks are more difficult to social distance in that environment. If anyone has the virus, then they'll be moved to the same isolation facilities that are available to people in our community. We have space, so we'll move those folks. I was hearing from Dr. Escott and Director Hayden that, the question was asked, are you concerned about what these guests, the impact they might have on our infectivity rate in our city? And they both said that they were more concerned about people living here going to bars and people living here having barbecues in their backyards over Labor Day. So let's stay focused on the things we can control, which is ourselves. Let's make sure we're doing what we need to do, and the people around us, our families, our friends, are doing what they should be doing as well. And let's stay disciplined with the risk level going down. I went out and got my hair cut in a situation where I wore my mask throughout the haircut. The hair person, barbers, wore her mask the entire time. I felt safe. I got my hair cut. I've taken my family out to a restaurant. We ate outside. We're continuing, by the way, to tip real generously every time we get food takeout or now sit in outside restaurant, because we have wait folks and service staff that really get hit and just real battered by what's going on. So if you have the ability, please be real generous and over tip to support these workers that are really hurting and suffering right now. Tomorrow we have a city council meeting. The first part of the day the consent agenda, a lot of things that make government work. Of interest, I think, is that the University of Texas and the City of Austin are entering into an interlocal government agreement, increasing the cooperation between the City of Austin and the University of Texas, something I started pushing for pretty vigorously a couple of years ago. There is so much expertise at the University of Texas, and the city not only could be informed by that expertise, but the city could be laboratories for university professors to be doing studies and trying out new ideas. But yet, the communication and the cooperation it's just never been as easy as it should be, and as easy as it is in some other cities with big universities in them that we see. So tomorrow, we're going to hopefully get the council to authorize an interlocal agreement. University of Texas, City of Austin, looking forward to that happening. It's going to make it easier for the city and the University of Texas, for faculty members and department heads to be able to help and benefit one another. We're also getting some grant funding from the governor's office, from the state, that will help us fund important aspects of the police that we want to make sure have all the support we can give them. Our police in our city do an incredibly important job helping us fight crime and helping to keep us safe. We are and continue to be one of the safest cities in the entire country. And one of the reasons for that is the people that serve on our police force. But we're getting some grant money, which means money to support some of these important crime-fighting activities, so that it's not all on the back of our taxpayers. And we're going to be accepting some of those grants tomorrow. That includes things like, 6 additional staff for the downtown community court. That's to help us with caseworkers. For folks that are experiencing homelessness, that are staying at some of our lodges as we move them into permanent supportive housing. I appreciate the grants. I appreciate us moving forward. Even as we did the $20 million cut in the police budget and moved it to housing people experiencing homelessness, more shelters for women in abusive homes, more capacity for EMS, more mental health first responders to assist in those situations. As we're doing that, even as we take a look at taking some components of what law enforcement does and giving it civilian control, things like the forensic lab doesn't need to be in the police department. We should follow the example like of Houston, which has already moved it out some time ago. But it's studying different functions. Even as we're doing all that, we support the police in their function. But some of the things we're doing, I think, will help improve public safety. Public safety is not just about the police, although it certainly includes the police. It's also about trying to do everything we can to make crimes not happen. And we're going to be focusing on that too. But again, just a reminder, despite the headlines in the newspaper that talk about $150 million in cuts, that no such thing happened in our city. All right, we're going to close tonight. We close most of these shows by showing pictures of kids, because I love kids, and see what their parents are doing with them. Obviously, today is a special day because it is National Dog Day. And it's important for us to recognize that some of the folks that are sheltering and weathering this virus and the change in activities are some of our furry friends. So it looks like this is a perfect day to celebrate Goose, the Doodle, and Blair, the Black Lab, who are also at home weathering this epidemic. Just about as cute as all the pictures that we've had. these pets, they actually don't mind sharing their personal space. And Dr. Escott has not mandated a 6-foot rule for our furry friends. But it's good to see that they seem happy and content. If you're lucky enough to have a dog with you in these challenging times, it makes lives for everybody a little bit easier. Please make sure that you give your dog an extra treat tonight, and tell your friend that the mayor gave it to him. You all have a good evening. Please be safe and take care.